In the 6th minute of the game, the Marinos scored their first goal. It starts off with a clearance from the Antlers goalkeeper. Suzuki wins the loose ball, but it was won back by Chinen. Notice Ogawa had made an overlapping run. And interestingly, the left winger Yoshida was on the right side of the pitch, which left the Antlers vulnerable if a counter-attack were to happen. As Chinen drives the ball down the right flank, Chinen and Kondo find themselves in a 2v1 against the Antlers' left centre-back, Sekigawa. As Chinen plays the ball into Kondo, Sekigawa steps in to close him down, which opens up a huge gap between the centre-backs. This meant Kondo could either drive into that space, or Chinen could make an underlapping run for Kondo to play him through. Kondo beats Sekigawa and drives into the huge space behind him. Most importantly, Kondo got his whole body in front of Sekigawa, which meant Sekigawa couldn't do anything without risking a foul in the box. As the right centre-back shifts over to help, both defenders at the back post end up ball watching, leaving Madeira open at the back post for the tap-in. In the 14th minute, a large space on the left flank appears, due to the Antlers right back Hirose inverting into midfield. Marinos exploits this by maintaining Miyadere's position out wide. As Marinos right back Inoue makes an interception, he dribbles towards the middle, which attracts the attention of Hirose, dragging him even further away from his position. Inoue switches the ball over to Miyadera on the left side with large amounts of space. Ueda does well by jockeying and forcing Miyadera wide, eventually poking the ball away, and Miyadera commits a foul. In the 15th minute, Ueda plays the ball back to Hayakawa from the free kick. The back pass triggers the press from Tanimura. Marinos employs a man-marking press, which puts the Antlers in a tight situation. Hayakawa plays the ball into Misao, used as a pivot. With a defender on his back, Misao plays the one-touch pass into Ueda, which bypasses the initial press from Tanimura. Yoshida drops into the channel, and Ueda fizzes the ball into him. Yoshida plays the one-touch pass back to Misao, and Misao plays the one-touch pass to the striker Leo Serra. Leo Serra plays the one-touch pass into Bueno, who plays a beautiful switch over to Ogawa in isolation, ending with Ogawa playing the through ball to Suzuki in an offside position. But if we look a little closer at why Ogawa was as isolated as he was, the answer is Toru Niki's tactical adjustments designed to exploit Marinos' man-marking high press. As Ueda goes to play the ball back to Hayakawa, the Antlers are not in any sort of build-up shape, but as Hayakawa receives the ball, the two centre-backs, Ueda and Sekigawa, moves wide. The Antlers midfield too staggers themselves. Misao drops into the back line to act as the pivot, and play a bounce pass wide to Ueda. The left centre mid Bueno remains higher up, in line with the right back Hirose. This structure replicates the very modern 3-2 build-up shape we see across football. But the most interesting piece of the Antlers build-up is their front line. We can see the front five remaining high up the pitch to create space in midfield, but there's something unusual. The player occupying the right centre attacking mid position is the left winger Yoshida. As Ueda receives the ball on his back foot, he looks up for options. Yoshida drops into the right half space, which drags the Marinos left centre-back Suwama all the way into midfield, completely out of position. Yoshida's movement creates a large gap behind him, between the midfield and back line, as Yoshida receives the ball from Ueda and plays a bounce pass into Misao. Leo Serra creates the separation with his marker, who is hesitant in following him too closely. Leo Serra drops in to receive the ball from Misao and plays a one-touch pass to Bueno. As Bueno looks up and sees Ogawa completely open on the opposite flank, he switches the ball over to Ogawa. The two Marinos players who could have marked him are right back Inoue, who is marking Suzuki, and right winger Kondo, who had no idea Ogawa was behind him. As Ogawa receives the ball, it turns into a 6v3 in Marinos' half. Inoue is forced to step out to engage Ogawa. Quinones is forced to slide over to defend Suzuki, and left back Sonoda is forced to slide over to cover Leo Serra. In addition, with Antlers Hirose and Yoshida joining the attack, Antlers have created an extremely high quality attacking situation here. In the 16th minute, the Marinos scored a second goal. Antlers opted for the same man-marking 4-4-2 high press approach Marinos used, but Marinos' build-up approach was entirely different. The first notable difference was the first phase of build-up. Instead of dragging the opposition deeper into their own half and almost into the 6-yard box, Marinos opted to cycle the ball just outside the box. The similarities being both centre-backs moving wider to make it more difficult for the pressing team to stay compact. The difference being the goalkeeper Blanco being utilised as a third centre-back during build-up and using the two midfielders in a more traditional flat double pivot. Both teams created a third centre-back, but the Marinos pushed up the goalkeeper instead. The second notable difference was how each team utilised their fullbacks. Antlers opted to have their left back push up as a winger, and the right back would remain deeper, but inverting into midfield after they bypassed the first line of Marinos' press. Marinos, however, pushed up both their fullbacks near the halfway line, which forced the opposition to make a sacrifice in the press. The Antlers wingers could either choose to ignore the two fullbacks, which they do here, to clog the midfield and force play out wide. But this meant the Antlers fullbacks also had to push all the way up to mark the opposing fullbacks, meaning the gaps between the Antlers fullbacks and centre-backs are completely stretched. As Blanco placed the ball into his left centre-back Suwama, Marinos' left back drops deeper. This seems like nothing out of the ordinary, just the left back dropping deeper to provide an option during the high press. But left back Sonoda's movements is just a disguise to lure Antlers right back Hirose away from his position. If you look closely, Miedera has started to run into the space Hirose left behind. As Suwama plays the long ball into Miedera, on first glance, it looks like the Antlers pressing has worked. It forced Marinos into a low percentage long ball. As the camera pans towards Miedera, we can see he's being marked by the right centre-back Ueda, but Ueda had overcommitted, putting him on the back foot against the young pacey winger. As the long ball floats into Miedera, Ueda is almost on his back. Miedera takes a spectacular first touch and flicks it over Ueda. Miedera couldn't take a second touch forward, which gave Ueda time to recover. As Miedera slows down the game for a few seconds, Amano, the attacking midfielder, makes the run on the blind side of Misao and surges into the space between Ueda and Sekigawa. Miedera plays a through ball to Amano, who somehow manages to find striker Tanimura with a first-time cross without looking up. Tanimura calmly slots it into the corner. At first glance, the goal seemed like a few displays of individual brilliance, but ultimately, it was the structure that gave the player the freedom to be expressive.